Hey, Jewel, what's going on? Thanks for joining. How you been? Yeah, I made this trade today in the stock. That's why I told everybody to do a live stream. And in like 2-3 hours, I made $17,000. I really think it's a hot stock. But I know you're not into stocks, so I don't want to. We can talk about something else. I'll talk about the stocks when everybody else gets on. Isaac, what's up? Did anybody look at Waitr, the stock? I was doing the video yesterday of Waitr, and it was trading at 86 cents. And then I was like, oh, this looks really good, this stock. I really like it. And then when I opened up my E-Trade this morning, I saw Morgan Stanley bought like 10% of the stock, and the stock went up like 50%. So I got it at $1.19, but I saw it before Morgan Stanley, or at least before the news. But I really think they're gonna get acquired by Uber Eats or Grubhub. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it could go way back down. So I mean, I might lose all this, but I think they're gonna get acquired. Robbie, what's up? Because I read an article saying that no one's gonna go to Waitr. They'll just go to Grubhub and Uber Eats because Waitr doesn't have a good brand name. But what they're doing, this company, is they're just focused on small markets, like small towns, not like and they're not really they're mainly in the Southwest US. So they wouldn't be in Miami if they're in Florida, but they wouldn't be in Miami. They'll be in a town with like 2,000 people. That's what they're focused on, and they're profitable. They had one bad earnings report and tanked. Well, the thing is, they got acquired by a SPAC in 2018. And I think the old CEO did a good job at least growing the company to where it was. But it was, ignore the $289 million. That's just a goodwill impairment. But even with $191 million, the old CEO still had negative operating income. The new CEO, he made some two major changes to the company, and revenue pretty much stayed the same because he eliminated like 40 cities that weren't making money. He got rid of those cities and stopped delivering there and just focused on the profitable ones. And he also got rid of, he fired all the drivers. So they have no drivers anymore. It's just all independent contractors like Grubhub does. And look, the revenue didn't really go up because he removed a lot of locations. So the revenue is pretty flat, but now they're profitable. Look at their expenses went down dramatically. Cost of revenue went from 148 million down to 109 million, 113 million. And then operating expenses went down, were cut in half, 132 million or 67 million. Yeah, when a company gets acquired, that's a jackpot, you know. Because if you own a company, right, would you want to sell it to a bigger company? That's like the end goal of most companies. Either you go public or you sell to a bigger company. So the stock usually goes up like 50% right away once it's announced an acquisition, because companies usually pay a premium when they acquire another company. That's what goodwill is. That's goodwill on the balance sheet. It goes purchase price minus net assets. It's kind of like, in order to get more money at your job, the best way to do it is to get another job. If you think you're to get more money at staying the same company, it's just not going to happen. If you're lucky, you'll get a 10% raise in 1 year. It's usually like 3 to 6% a year. If you want to get like a 30, 40% raise, you have to get another job. Same thing with a company. In order to add value to the company, you have to sell it. Well, yeah, Facebook. I mean, I think Facebook is, for long term, yeah, it's always a buy. But I don't know about, maybe it's hard to time these things. So, what am I doing? So when it was a SPAC, it was flat, and then they acquired the company, and it hit $15. I don't care about the price chart. I don't look at the price chart when I do evaluation. It's meaningless. I'm just, yeah, AMD is really good. What's it called? Semiconductor companies. They're pretty much all good because the demand. And I think once investors realized the company wasn't profitable and probably was never going to become profitable, it tanked. It got down to like 30 cents, I think. But then the new CEO came and he changed things up. I mean, the big thing was firing all the drivers and hiring independent contractors. I mean, that's a game changer. They would have went out of business if they didn't do that. So he did that, and the stock did get driven up to $5. But people don't have patience. Investors don't really have patience, so they still saw this is. So there's just a big sell-off, and it's come down a lot. I mean, I don't know it might come back down. It just seems like they figured it out, and you've been following I didn't really know about this company till, I guess, yesterday. Lancadia Holdings acquired them. There's a guy named Tillman Fertitta. He runs Lancadia Holdings. He had a TV show. It was good. It was, I don't know if anybody saw that TV show. It was like The Prophet, but it was his businesses. So he would go to different companies like that supply, like whatever product, like they could supply like soap or t-shirts, and he would sell them at his restaurants or hotels. Does anybody know that name of the show? He owns the Houston Rockets. Oh yeah, $1 billion buyer. That was what it's called. It was a good show. I used to watch it all the time. Yeah, Next ID was up a lot, right? I mean, it moves with Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin goes up, Next ID goes up, and other like SOS, other crypto related stocks. But Next ID is a little different, right? It's just the wallet. Right? They don't have any crypto exposure. So that does make it kind of attractive, that there's less risk. But yeah, I wish I got it at 80 cents. It's so annoying. I was thinking of not buying it when I saw it was over $1, but I just decided anyway. I had to get into but the thing is, I don't like buying these things because I don't know when to sell. Like, it's usually I don't sell, I just hold, but it's kind of, I hate trying to like time it, because if I sold like on Monday, say I sold it like it was, and then went up to like $3, it's just really, it's frustrating. So I never know when to sell. But like Facebook, I just would never sell unless I needed the money, because I know there's no like risk of, or almost no risk of it going down. Yeah, don't marry penny. Well, yeah, right. Don't marry any stock, especially penny stock. I wish I released a video, because I was editing it this morning. So I wish I had it released before the big run up. It would have been much better. It looks better when I say this stuff before it happens, but I still think it's going to go up. It's painful when it keeps going up. I mean, could you imagine like having Dogecoin, like putting $500 into it and then selling it for like, like $800, and it could have been $1 million. It's just too painful. So it's just hard to sell. But if it goes if it goes up, like if you sell and then it keeps going up, you get annoyed. But if you hold out, say it goes up to like a stock goes up to 10, and you don't sell, even though you're up like 1,000%, and then it goes down to 8, you're definitely not going to sell because it was 10. So you're not going to sell at 8 because you could have. And then it goes to 6, and then you don't sell because you're like, oh my god, it was 10. It has to go back up. Then it goes to 4. That's what happens usually. Sold HX at $2 for break even when I held it 5 months. Yeah, it's just. I hate almost looking at the. That's why I don't like investing in penny stocks too much. I bought GNC, if anybody watched my channel, right when they filed bankruptcy. I have 2 videos on it. I bought 50,000 of GNC, and right away it was up. It doubled to 100,000. Like in aftermarket trading, that same day it doubled. But I held out an extra day, and I ended up I think I made like maybe 5% return. If I would have held out, I would have lost like 90%. But because it came down a lot. I don't even think the ticker's even there anymore. It got delisted, and yeah, there's no ticker anymore. Because remember there was a time like, was it Kodak? All these stocks, like Kodak filed bankruptcy, then it went up like 5-10x right after they filed bankruptcy. What? Not Kodak. Was it Kodak that filed bankruptcy? I can't remember what stock that was. But the thing is, when a company files bankruptcy, the people that they have to sometimes they J.C. Penney's, that's it, yeah. J.C. Penney's had that big run up, so a lot of people are covering their shorts, and there's sometimes a lot of buying activity, and it pushes the price up, and then people start jumping into the stock because they see this activity going on, and then it just drives the stock up. Or was it a Reddit squeeze? Or not a Reddit squeeze? Was it because of Reddit that people bought JCPenney's? Maybe there was a reason why, but I think it's usually people covering their shorts, and that's why there's a lot of buying. And then all the covering keeps pushing the stock price higher. But yeah, so they deliver everything. So if you wanted like milk from the grocery store, you can use the app, the Waitr app, or there's another service, or Bite Squad. They acquired Bite Squad. So if you wanted something from the supermarket, you can go on their app and order it, and somebody will deliver to you. It's not just for food and restaurants, although that's, I think, the main thing. And they also, if you're in a restaurant, you can just use your phone to click on a QR code on the table and then order your food. So it saves the restaurant money, because the waiter or waitress doesn't have to go to the table, take your order, and then bring it back to the kitchen and give them the order. That's kind of streamlined, so it removes a lot of the work for the staff. So they do that. They set that up on their app, and they actually started delivering cannabis too. So they deliver everything. And but the thing is, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash, they're not really focused on these small rural towns. They go after like Manhattan or LA. They're in all the big cities, where this company is just mainly in 700 small and medium-sized markets, like in Tennessee or something, or Louisiana. I think they're mainly on the East Coast only, southern part of the East Coast. But I'm really hoping they get acquired by a bigger company, because if you're like Grubhub, obviously a big city like New York City is going to generate you a lot of money, but there's more competition there with other big companies, and also a lot of restaurants have their own. Like if I want to order Domino's, wouldn't ever go to these. I would just go to Domino's website and order directly from Domino's. So a lot of companies already have it already set up. But if you go to like a small town, there's nothing. There's these little restaurants. They don't have much money to invest in technology. So they really are doing a good job focusing on these smaller markets. So even though like Grubhub can go to a smaller market, they could go to the same market these guys are in. It's not that easy. If you live in a small town, doesn't mean you know who Uber Eats is, or Grubhub if you live in a small town. So if Grubhub wanted to go to the same town, they would have to have their app set up and do marketing, things like that, and it just takes time to get those customers. It's just so much easier to acquire this company to get all those customers already. That's assuming they want to expand to even these small towns in the United States. It may not be worth their while. So, but they're profitable. That's the new CEO started in 2019, and now he's profitable. So with the same revenue. So I think they're going to go into more towns, more small cities, and set up their platform. Get a lot of restaurants in those towns to be on the platform. They even have like iPads. Like that's part of their CapEx. They give iPads to the restaurants. Like if a restaurant has 10 tables, they give 10 iPads to the restaurant. Now the restaurant people can use the iPad and just order directly on an iPad their meal, and then the manager sees it and then gets it all set up, and the waitress brings it over to the table. So I hope obviously grow into more cities. And COVID, I guess, was helpful for these companies because less people were going out. They needed more food delivered. but now they expanded to everything, like all types of businesses. So BK runs don't happen to penny stocks often. I had a stock that got delisted, lost over. Yeah, BK runs. I wouldn't say on penny stocks. Yeah, I wouldn't. But if it's like a big company, like a $1 billion company, like J.C. Penney's was, that filed bankruptcy, there will be. Then I could see like a lot of like a big run on the stock. But yeah, but penny stocks, there wouldn't be many people covering their shorts because most people don't short penny stocks. There's really not much to gain. Yeah, so in 2019, the founder and the CFO, they were taken off because I think, this is just me speculating, but I think they grew it. They kind of grew it as much as they could, which they did a good job growing it to that point and getting the company publicly traded. But I don't think they had the skills because the new CEO was a former, he was the former CEO of iPayment. So I don't think the old CEO or CFO would have even known how to fire all their drivers and get everybody set up on a as an independent contractor. I mean, it sounds easy, but to actually execute those things is not so easy. So that was huge for this company. Between DCFs and comps, which one? I mean, DCFs, definitely. I don't think comps give you any information. You're talking about comparing the ratios, like the PE ratio. I just show that because people want to see it, but I don't really look at it that much. But for a company like this, there's nothing that's going to work. Like if you look at a company like Google or something, you can use a DCF or comps maybe because you have a lot of information. But for a company like this, that's just kind of getting started, it's kind of a guessing game. You just have to. I mean, ideally, you like what they do, and then. I mean, it is kind of surprising a company already they're profitable. Well, they had a small negative net income, but they have positive cash flow already in 2020, trailing 12 months. So it just seems like, and the stock was at its lowest point almost. It was 86 cents when I did the video. And I thought it was like, it should have been running up the stock. Instead, it was coming down. But is anybody invested in this company, Waitr? Let me pull up Grubhub. Grubhub was acquired by Just Eat. I did a video on them recently. Yeah. Just Eat. I mean, we could look at the numbers for the whole. We could look at Grubhub's numbers probably if we look at Just Eat's. They probably break it down in their financials. This is Just Eat, which is a similar company, but it's really hard to tell because like they have so much more revenue, 3 billion compared to 200 million. But it's hard to tell because they could just be investing a lot back into the business. So it's hard to tell if they could be profitable if they weren't putting so much money back into other things. But yeah, but that's why I did. I mean, there's nothing magical. It just seemed like it made sense to me. The new CEO seems to be really doing what he said, and he cut expenses dramatically, and yeah, and the stock price is low, so I hope it goes up a lot. Yeah. I mean, we all make mistakes. Like Warren Buffett lost a lot of money in airlines, right? So if you time it poorly, then you're not going to make any money. Oh, did anybody see the video I did on Dark Pulse? I was supposed to upload the video tomorrow, but I decided not to because you guys know about Dark Pulse. The CEO threatened to sue me. I could show you the comments on the video. It's just been stressing me out even thinking about posting it because there's too many I mean, I know it seems like it shouldn't bother me, but like the negative comments kind of really bring you down. It's so stupid. Like I did make a mistake and I did fix it, but it's so irrelevant. The mistake I made. But even if I fix that mistake, I have a feeling he's still gonna send me threatening emails. It's fictional at best, libel. You clearly understand what you present, and then you clearly understand it's false, misleading, and libelous. You purposely misstated figures in the financial. It's clear you understand this information is false. If it's not removed, you will file a lawsuit to ensure it's removed, as well as damages against you personally. Don't bend to these fucking bullies. Oh. But even if I fix it, I have a feeling they're still going to be upset because they've locked in revenue now. The information you're referring to is completely false and misleading. I didn't even talk that bad about the company, too. Report. I am sure someone paying you to bash TPLS. You're not well about DPS, and it's hurting our company by you misleading people about us. Please know your mistake and delete this video. Reported. I said, can you tell me what I said wrong? He said, everything, literally everything. If I said everything wrong, his review was not inaccurate. If I said everything wrong, then they need to need to revise their financials, because that's wrong, and he needs to understand how to simple accounting works. If I said everything wrong, people with big followings got the stock pumped way too hard and got people to believe the stock was actually good. I remember subscribing to you often when. Oh yeah, Royce. Yeah, I remember. I remember you in the early days. It's good to see you. So, do you think I should post the video where I corrected that minor slip up? I said millions instead of thousands because I was used to reading off Yahoo's numbers. Yahoo lists all their financials in thousands, and the company has all their numbers in real dollar terms. They're not in thousands. You clearly understand what you presented, and you clearly understand it's false, misleading. I don't know if I should post the corrected one because they're still going to get upset. I have a feeling. Well, I just had a pop up when I said millions. I said it was a pop up saying the correct number. I really want to post it, but I know it's going to stress me out. What do you guys think? Should I post the video where I fix those errors? Or should I just leave it alone and not even post it? I would avoid the cesspool completely. I enjoy the bullish videos you post. What are we talking? Boeing. I mean, I think Boeing is usually a pretty solid stock. I haven't really looked at it too much lately, but we're just talking about the Dark Pulse video when the CEO threatened to sue me. I fixed at least what they said was wrong in the video. Even though I don't think that's what they care about. I think they really got annoyed the fact that I said, which is all true, there's no cash in the bank. They have I'll show you. Yeah, as of 6:30, they only have $150,000 of cash in the bank. 148,000. That's a period. And they owe $3 million. This obviously could be a timing thing. Because this is as of 6:30, so maybe the first week of July they got a big influx of cash for like $50 million. I don't know. I'm just going off the just imagine how much money they have invested in keeping DPL shareholders blind. I think the really thing bothered him was when I talked about the equity section of the balance sheet, which I really liked. I really like how I kind of presented the equity section. Because they raised 2.4 million and $500,000 from selling stock. So just don't talk about it. Just talk about other stocks, man. Yeah, we could talk about other stocks. Okay, I just won't post a video. Well, technically, the video is out there on my live stream. It's just not under. It's not titled Dark Pulse. I posted under the live stream that I did like 2 days ago. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ali. Yeah, it's just like people don't want to know the truth. It's like being 500 pounds. You just don't want to get on a scale. Even though you know you're really overweight, you just don't want to know. I feel like it's like them. Like there's no cash in the bank. They've lost everything. But just don't tell us that. As long as we don't know it, just keep telling us that new products are coming and sales are going to be great next year. Try Terrace and a profitable short squeeze in the coming next weeks. Oh, there's definitely worse companies. Yeah. And this could be a great company. I even say that in a video a few times. It could be an amazing investment. Right now, they haven't had any revenue and they've lost everything. But the thing that makes me think it's struggling is that they've been taking on a lot of debt. Let me go to cash flow statement. Like when you're pre-revenue, you don't really take on debt. You issue stock because you can't pay the interest on your debt, which is a big problem because you'll go to be forced into bankruptcy if you can't pay that interest payment. And when you have no revenue coming in, there's no way you can pay the interest unless you take on more debt to pay the old debt. And it's just snowballs, right? So that's and I didn't even I didn't say that as clearly as I'm doing now, but was a huge red flag is that they're using a lot of debt now. $1 million in 2018, 180,000, 1.1 million. That's kind of like when your back's against the wall and you have no other choices. So you go to the bank and take some loans. And the interest rate, when you're pre-revenue, we get better interest rates than this company does. They're paying like 12, 13, 14% interest because they're a really poor credit risk. If you ever look at a pre-revenue company or a penny stock that takes on debt, they pay a high interest rate. It's really expensive. So, but yeah, we don't have to talk about this. Oh, the stock's down to 8 cents. And people say like, oh, it's because of people like you. That's why our stock's not going up. If the company did file bankruptcy, they would blame other people to talk negatively about the stock. They wouldn't blame the fact that they never got sales. It's down to 400 million, so it dropped 100 million. I think it was 500 million when I started this video. Right. I mean, it did go up a ton. It was really low, like 0.0005 cents. Tell us about starting a business. You told you had some. I do have a business. You just need capital, right? And an idea, and just keep kind of moving forward with the process. Well, I bought a franchise, so it was a lot safer than starting my own business. I think that's a good way to go if you're not too comfortable with starting a business. Just buy into a franchise, and they'll give you all the tools to do everything. How do you look for an idea? I mean, I don't know. I mean, whatever you think can generate money, or at least maybe what you're comfortable with. YouTube is a business, I guess. It might not be the sole way to make money. You can leverage YouTube to do other things. But yeah, it's hard. Didn't you used to teach math to kids? What do you mean? Buying a French fry? I do teach math to kids. I do that every day. It's a franchise. Ben, are you here? 7 days a week, which is annoying because it's a turd, definitely. It's actually a pretty big franchise now. When I bought into it, there was only 300 locations. Now there's, I don't know how many, maybe 1,200 now. So when I bought into Mathnasium, I had to pay $27,000 for the initial fee. Then you have to pay a royalty every month, but the initial fee was 27. Now it's, I think, 50,000 to buy Mathnasium. And of course, my business is worth money. There's equity there because it's profitable. If it wasn't profitable, there wouldn't be too much equity, but it would be like Dark Pulse. If it wasn't profitable, it'd be worth nothing. You should do a video on buying into a franchise that's okay. Because you said French fry. That's funny because I actually was looking into starting a French fry business with somebody for a few months. For like 6 months, we were looking to get a business that just sold French fries. But it didn't work out. I thought you built a platform. No, I didn't. It's just a franchise. I just bought into the concept. My hobbies? Oh, I guess maybe golf. I don't know. I don't really do much. I spend like 7 hours a day making videos. And then I work 3 hours a day. So the videos take a lot of time. It's never ending. Like to learn about the company, like there's always so many things to learn about them. So it's like it just especially like these big companies, like Waitr's an easy company to learn about. But like BHP or something, like it's just there's just so much to it's yeah, I used to play a lot of poker. Like probably 20,000 hours of poker. When in my 20s, when Poker Stars came out, every night, 3-4 hours a night. I used to go to Atlantic City all the time when I lived in New York. There's a bar actually in my town that you can play poker at, like legal poker. So you could just live off your franchise alone? Oh yeah, definitely live off of the franchise. Yeah. I mean, it's a good. I mean, some people don't make any money with the franchise, but it's pretty profitable for me. You know, I put a lot into it, but wait, is Poker Stars? I thought they stopped. I thought you can't play Poker Stars anymore. Or maybe did it come back? I thought they got rid of all those sites in the US. Oh, you're in Canada. Okay. Yeah, I really like Poker Stars a lot. I did some other poker site a couple of years ago, but it wasn't as fun. I don't know what it was called. Yeah, I was thinking of if I have time, like, I used to play. It's easy, I think, to profit. What do you play? Like, what games do you play? Like, do you do one, two? Do you play cash games or do you play tournaments? I used to do like the sit and goes, like either 9 people or 18 people. But if I pay $5 or $10 buy-in, I could almost always win. So you do tournaments, but when I get to a higher tournament like sit and go, when I go to like the higher levels, like $50, $100, the buy-in, I didn't really win that much. I probably lost on those, but if I do the 5, 10, maybe $20 buy-ins, I could usually win. $20. Yeah. Yeah. The caliber of players is much lower on $20. Yeah, but I was thinking of doing meetups, like go to like a city and then like meet a bunch of people from the channel and just talk about stocks. Like maybe like go to like 5 cities a year or something. Like go to like LA, like a centralized city, or like Vancouver, or like Austin, Texas. Inflation, I don't really, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that stuff because I don't really, I mean, it could go either way. So I don't really know how to, I just try to stick to what I know, like try to understand companies. I can't really, there's too many kind of like unknowns with that stuff. And I don't even understand it that well, the impact. So I just kind of just try to ignore it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, inflation, it could change a lot. I mean, I think if interest rates rise, I think that'll have a much more severe impact than inflation. Because then companies with lots of debt, I think it'll be difficult for them to pay the interest on their debt. But inflation, I don't see, unless I don't understand it that well, I just don't see the impact. Because inflation is like a tax on, taxes your savings. So if you have a lot of money in savings, inflation is going to kill you because your money's worth so much less. But as long as you have your money somewhere else, like in stocks or in your house, inflation just moves with that stuff. Or if you have a lot of debt, inflation is really good. Like if you had $1 million of debt and inflation was sky high, that $1 million is a lot easier to pay off. But yeah, but it's a little confusing, like trying to understand how they tie together, and so I don't really even, I just kind of ignore it. But Fed can't raise rates at this point, right? It's going to be a while. Does that mean with REIT companies that rely on debts, inflation is good for them? Well, REITs own real estate, so I don't think inflation. Right. If because remember, like during, I think, World War I, or maybe two. Remember, inflation got so high, like in like Soviet Union, that it cost like the price of a loaf of bread went from like $2 to like $2 million. So if you have like $1 million in debt, and then inflation is so crazy that $1 million in debt, $1 million can only buy a loaf of bread, so you can easily pay off that debt, right? So if there's high inflation, the companies with, actually, yeah, that with high inflation, companies with lots of debt will benefit, but interest rates will go up. So it'll kind of, so I guess it'll equal each other out. The cheaper dollar will offset the higher interest rate. But it's like that in Venezuela now, right? They have hyperinflation. And like, and in Zimbabwe to a lesser degree, but Venezuela has like massive inflation. Venezuela. I mean, we would never get to that because we're too stable. But look, imagine. Come on, why does it keep doing this? 2,000%. So imagine if you make $1,000 a month. Wait, it's 23x, right? 2,300%. Yeah. So if you make $1,000 a month, next month you need to make. Next year, so you make $10,000 a year in Venezuela. Next year you would have to make $230,000 just to buy the same exact stuff you bought when you made 10,000. And then the year after that, you'd have to make like, what is it, like 4.9 million? Yeah, even, 20% is just, it's just crazy. But it's like a third world country. Once it gets to this, like, then there's just people on the streets, and it's chaos. The country. That's when it's not just print. It's like they print tons of money, but it's much more severe. It's a different animal. I can't imagine myself living in those high inflation countries. Oh no, it's a nightmare. It's an awful existence. Inflation is good. Moderate inflation is good, like 3-4%. Deflation is actually bad. I forgot why, but that's why Bitcoin will always survive. I don't know about that. Bitcoin, it probably will survive, always survive, but I don't know about inflation. Maybe, yeah, maybe you have a point. Commodities can't double in quantity, just the quantity of money that increases by commodity prices. Yeah. These are fun topics to talk about on live streams. This is a good topic. But yeah, I'm gonna get going now. I have to work tomorrow all day. So yeah, thanks for coming on, and thanks for the support. And I'll see you. I guess probably next live stream.